All right, here we go. Troy, it is 6:41 on Monday, December 17th of 2018. I'm doing this because my memory sucks ass and I want to document stuff. I don't know. It's just it'd be nice to have things set up so I can go back from the future into the past and say, okay, this is how I was feeling at this time about this subject. So I'm going to be talking about my sexual assault. Yay. Um so yeah, I was invited to a oh God, I don't even know when it was. It was in like the early summer of 2018. That's about it for dates that I have. But I was invited to a frat party, and I was like, of course. Why wouldn't I? You know, I like alcohol. I don't do the sweet tobacco or that sweet hookah, but to each his own. Whatever, I'll go. So we went, and we had a good time, and the person I was with got really drunk, and so we were just going to stay the night because they were good friends of his. Um, and there's this guy. You know, I'm going to use his actual name too, David. Fuck you. Um, we were like friends. He was older because he was in the frat, and I was still in high school. I just gotten out of it, and he was weird because he was always be like, "Ooh, daddy," and what those lips do, kind of thing. And I was like, "Oh, it's a joke," you know. And everyone in the kind of group is kind of like that. And it was like, "Ooh, daddy," you know, give me some of that sweet, sweet ass. And it's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, whatever." But so everybody like had gone to bed, and I was sober. I had my Four Loko, I had my gallon of water. I would interchange sips, and I was like stone cold sober at this time. It was probably like 3 in the morning ish. Um, and there were two couches. There was like one here against the wall, one here against the wall, and like I was on whatever this one, and I had the blanket, and he didn't have a blanket, and he was on his couch, and I was like, I just want to go to bed. I'm tired. And so he was like, Troy, give me the blanket. And I'm like, no, sorry, man, figure it out yourself. And then he like got up and like laid next to me. So I was like under the blanket, and he was like next to me on top of the blanket. So I was like, all right. And I was, God, I'm so nervous. And then so he like put his arm around me, like around like my chest. I was on my back, and he was like on his stomach, and I was like, okay, David, uh, just that's, mm-hmm. And then his hand just went under my shirt and like grabbed at like my chest. And I was like, no, David, no. Like I was very verbal about it. I was, no, David, no, no. I'm not, I specifically remember saying this, I am not comfortable with this right now. And he kept like going at it. And I could see like a smile on his face, and his eyes were closed, and he didn't like stop. And with David, when he was drunk, you didn't really know if he was. It was just kind of like he was just like himself, just a little bit more out there. Like he could have had like 12 beers, and you would think, oh, maybe he just had two. Like you don't know. Um, but so I was like, okay, I'm not doing this. So I went on the other couch, and I was on my stomach. I was like laying on my stomach, and he came over, and then he like knelt on the floor, like next to me. So it was like his face like really close to mine. And then wait, no, hold on. When before that, he came up and he sat on me. He sat on me, and I was like, David, get off. I'm not comfortable with this right now. I want to go to bed. And he was like, whatever, fuck you. So then he got on his knees next to my face, like, Troy, kiss me. And I'm sitting there with my eyes closed, my head in the cushions, and I'm like, what? And I'm thinking to myself like, I can't tell if he's serious or not. And so I look up, and I say, what? And then he just grabs my chin and he just full on like kisses me. This is my second kiss. My first was with a drunken friend, and my second is now sexual assault. And I was in full shock. I was just entirely adrenaline. I didn't know what was going on. Like I was like vision was blurry. I was like lightheaded. I don't know. I panic. I panic all the time. And so he said, "Don't tell anyone, or I'll tell the person I came with that you did it. That like you started it." And I just turned my head and put it in the corner of the cushion and just put my arms around me like this, and I just like cried myself to sleep. And he like just went to sleep. He was like whatever. And so the next day, good old David texted me, and he was like, "Hey, um, I think some boundaries were crossed last night." And I was like, "Yeah, big time." And at the time, I was like, I don't want to call this sexual assault because nobody wants to be. It's best just to like deny it. Um, but I was at work. I was at Pizza Hut. I was parked in front. I texted my friend Emily and I said, "Hey, this happened to me. Is this sexual assault?" And she's like, "Yeah, Troy, 100% it is." So I immediately switched over to Snapchat and I messaged David. That's how I talked to him on it. And I said, "You sexually assaulted me. Don't ever talk to me ever again." And I blocked him off of everything. Um, I later told the person I went to the party with about it, I think about 2 weeks later, and they were like, "Holy fuck." And they like broke ties with him and all that. But that was like 6 or 7 months ago. And I still think about it almost every day. Um, I've been at work at ShopRite. I'm a cashier and I'm scanning items, and it just hits me, and I just like relive it again and again and again, and I freeze. Like only really big things make me freeze. My mom yelling at me, like screaming at me when she used to. That being totally out of power over myself, like when my meds messed me up and like I couldn't talk and I couldn't walk and I couldn't think on the lithium. That froze me because I wasn't in control of my body. And then the David sexually assaulting me. um, I think about it all the time, and I still see my therapist, and we're trying to like figure out to you know what to do, and we're like, I don't know. He keeps asking me like, what part of it is like are you feeling like anger or like upset, like sad, or are you like confused? And I'm like everything, but I'm mostly angry because he was a close-ish friend. We all trusted him. I trusted him. And another thing is, between friends, I'm a very physical person. I go for hugs. I'll shake a hand, have an arm around the shoulder, but with everybody. That's just who I am. And that's not the best thing, but that's just who I am. Especially with regular friends, my friends Miranda and Annabelle, we would go arm in arm or hold hands and like cuddle next to each other, and we would just sit like that for like hours. They would smoke weed and drink, and I would just kind of sleep, and it was just the nicest thing. And I crave that. That's how it's like I need physical interaction, not sex, but just human touch. like holding hands or something. And David took that away from me. I still crave that all the time, and I still want human interaction physically. But when someone touches me, I withdraw and I go, "Whoa, hold on," and I have to. I'm like, my best buddy Keegan. He kind of like just hits people in the stomach, just like, go. Blah. And he did it a couple of times, and I had to text him. I said, "Hey," he kind of knows what happened. I said, "David, I can't. I can't. It's triggering because David. That's where it's exclusively where he touched me. He groped my chest and my big boy man breasts. Gotta love those boys. And so if there's anywhere I don't want people touching me, it's my chest. And he took that away from me because now I still need it. I still like go for it. I still thrive on human interaction physically. Human physical interaction. But when I go for it, it just triggers something and I go, I can't, I back away. Like for a month after he sexually assaulted me, like I wouldn't like hug like my parents. Like I'd be like, I can't do this right now. And so it's over half a year later and it's every day and almost every day. Some days are like, hey, I'll remember like I didn't think about this for like the past 2 days. I'm like, hey, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's where I am. Fuck you, David, you cunt. I hope you burn in hell. Um, I see you on friends' Snapchats, and I absolutely hate it. And I know that you're in the state at that time because I know you're not in the other college you're at. And God, that scares the fuck out of me. And I know you're not a bad person, and you acknowledge that boundaries were crossed. So I don't think you did it on purpose, but you still did it, and you did it to me, and it scarred me, and it affects me all the time. And I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. Because you took something that was mine away from me. Yeah, that's where I am. At 6:54 p.m. on December the 17th, 2018. I know I'm doing this because my memory sucks, and it's I don't say deteriorating, but it's not getting any better. I don't know why I'd want to remember this, but I think it's good to know this is the reality. I don't think I'll ever forget it, but I think I'll forget some details of it, and I wanna know what happened to me. Didn't pursue any legal stuff. I'm not going to. My parents don't know, and if you see this, mom and dad, don't bring it up to me, ever, ever. Even it just shh. That's it. No. Yeah. All right. I'm signing off. Bye.